So in this video, let's complete the part B for this live coding project 006, okay? And let's make a copy of this project for the part A. So you should have a link to make a copy of it. So on my Google Drive, I can make a copy of this project directly on my Google Drive. And now I have this new file created. So let's open this file. And I think we have something which were not completed in the part A. So I'd like to make this video to complete this project. All right. So let's rename this as part B. Okay. So in our last video for this part A, we can send the email out successfully, but we have some tasks which were not completed. I think the first one is for this attachment. We didn't handle the attachment for the email, okay? And the second part, I think, is for the image. So if you check the template here, for the image, it's going to be replaced with text right now. Okay, so this image. So we're going to replace this image placeholder with a real inline image in your, basically going to insert an image here, right, in your template after we send the email. Okay, so this is the two main incompleted tasks we're going to fix in this part B video. Okay, so let's get started with this part B. So let's rename. The rename is done, and let's go to the script editor. So let's complete this attachment first. So for this attachment, I decided to do it like this. So basically, you can put a URL here, basically a Google Drive file URL, okay? And you also can put an ID here. So we can accept either an ID or a URL, okay? So let's, here I have two pictures. So let's get the link for this image. So let's copy this link. So link is copied, and let's add the link here. All right. So we have the first one is the link, and for the second image here, I'd like to grab the ID of this file. So to grab this ID, you can copy it like this. So between this d / and this / view, this is the ID of this file. So we just make a copy of that ID and put it here as a new line. Okay. So now I have two attachments. The first one is a URL, and the second one is the ID. Okay. So we're going to handle this attachment right now. So back to the project here. So if you search attachments, as you can see here, we put an empty array here. That means there is no attachment for this email to be sent, okay? So we need to handle the attachment here, all right? So where can we do that? We can do it in a function called handle raw data here. So here, I need to check if this header is equal to attachment. Okay, so if header is equal to attachments, so if it's equal to attachment, that means we're going to handle the attachment, or else we're going to pass the value for this key, this header key. Okay, so else this header I'm going to write a new function to call, okay, to create the attachments, and I'm going to pass the raw values. Basically, these are So this row value index is going to be this value, okay? If this is row 2, this is the value. If it's row 3, this is the value. And we pass this value. And in this function called create attachment, we're going to handle this, let's say, maybe lines, because we use a multiple line to separate the files, okay? So I just rename it as lines. So let's say, if, let's say, define the variable called const attachments is an empty array right now. So if the lines is empty, if it's empty, let's go to return this empty array, okay? That because if this cell is empty, that means we don't have any attachment. I'm going to return an empty array. So if this is not empty, that means we're going to have some lines here, and I'm going to split this these lines. Okay, we're going to split the lines. So basically, we're going to check them line by line. Okay, so for each line. So for each line in these lines, it could be a URL for the file, and it could be an ID to that file, right? So we need to handle two situations here. So let's define an ID, because our final target is get the ID from this URL, or just so for this one is already an ID, so we don't need to do anything. But for this URL, we need to grab this ID from this URL. Okay, so let's do this. So if let's let ID equal to line. Okay, so if line or ID, if ID includes, if it includes basically this keyword /d/d. If you check the URL, you will see we have a /d/d like this, right? In this URL. So if this include this /d/d, I'd like to split this line, okay, or ID. So I'm going to split this line or ID, because we assign this line to this ID right now. This ID is exactly the same with this line. So line dot split /d/d /d/, and I'm going to use the second element after we do this split, and I'm going to split again with a /, because after we split this URL with this /d/, we're going to have two parts. The first part is this, right, HTTPS, and then the second part is this one, right? And this is the second part. We're going to split it again with the /, okay? So split again with / and get the first part, which is the ID. So ID equal to like that. And let's try to get the file. So const file equal to drive app.get file by ID. So by ID. And we're going to push this file to this attachment. Okay, push file. Here we are push the blob of this file. Okay, get a blob. And else, what else? Catch error. Catch error. So if we have an error, I'm going to we will not do anything here, because here, in case this ID is invalid ID, you're going to have an error here. Okay, so this is try to get rid of the invalid IDs. And finally, we're going to return the attachments. So this function is going to handle the attachment. All right, so let's go back to this. Let's find this handle attachment here. So I'm going to get the attachment from that URLs or IDs, and not here, yes, here. So we can replace this empty array with email data attachments. Okay, so in this way, we handle the attachment. So we can console log this out so you can see it. Email data dot attachments. And let's comment this out and try to run this function again. Try to create a template, no, run. So let's try to test if this function is working. So this is the first, this is a new project and the first time to run this function, and it asked me for the authorization. Let's complete this authorization process. Advanced. So if I didn't make any mistake, I should get an array of attachments. Okay, so we have two files, right, and the two attachment objects. And here you get this error because we comment this out, so it returns nothing and it got this get ID of undefined. So let's uncomment these lines and try to run this again, and I should send out an email with two images, two attachments. So if I check my inbox, let's try to reload the page. Okay, so this is the email we just received, and as you can see here, we have two attachments, two images, which is exactly the same on my drive, right? So this is the way to handle this attachment. And the next problem here is this image placeholder. As you can see, if I open this invoice template, this image has been replaced with a text, because right now this is actually which is an image here, right? And something is very important here I'd like to do, because we need to identify, because we can have links here, because for images we can also have the link. So it could be better if we can have an identifier, so the script will know which column is an image column and which column is not. Okay, so I have a convention here. So for all the image placeholders, let's say we start the placeholder with this image. Okay, maybe image 1 or image 2, so things like that. So in this way, we know this placeholder is an image placeholder, and this one is also an image placeholder, right? So this is you can define your own convention. Okay, so you can make it something else like that. So basically, the script, we're going to check if this placeholder start with curly brace image. Okay, if this placeholder is start with this keyword, that means this is the image placeholder. All right, and let's grab some image from here, from this website. So let's try to grab a beautiful image from here. Which one is better? Okay, let's pick this apple. So copy this image address and place it here. And let's get rid of this one for now. And because we updated this image 1 to placeholder, and let's update the placeholder here. Okay, so we use this image 1 as a placeholder, and here we also updated our placeholder here. So let's try to get to handle this image placeholder. So to do that, let's try to find the function called handle raw data. And here we need to add another else if, okay, to check if this header is start. So if header dot let's say start with, I'm not sure if I have this function. Okay, start with remember, start with image, right? That means this is image placeholder. Let me check if we have this function. I'm not sure if this function exists or not. I don't remember. So let's try to check. So if this, so email data and header is equal to, so we're going to call a function called create. Let's create inline images. I'm going to pass this function here. Okay, so this is a little bit different here right now. What I'm doing here. So this is the header. Right now, this is the placeholder for the image. Okay, so we need to get the image blob. Okay, let's do something here like this. Let's say we need to define another property here. So let's say get raw data, image data. So image data dot inline images equal to empty. So basically, we're going to push all the inline images here into this inline image array. Okay, and in this function, we are going to get. So let's cast. We'll have to return two stuff. The first is the image HTML, and there's another one is an array of images. Okay, so create inline images. Let's say inline images, and we need to pass this value to this. Pass this inline images to this value, and we need to pass these images to this inline images array. So let's do it like this. So let's try to create this function here. Raw data. Okay, so note this one. Let's say URL. This could be a URL or ID. Okay, so let's try to handle this URL first. So if there is no URL, so if URL is empty, we're going to return. Let's define image HTML empty, and let's define the images array as empty. So if this is URL is empty, so let's just return the image HTML and images. Okay. So if there is no placeholder there, okay, we're going to return empty, basically return nothing. Okay. So if we do have a URL here, So let's try to get the blob from this URL. Let's try to do a URL fetch to fetch the image data from this URL, okay? And get blob. So let's const blob equal to, maybe we can wrap them in a try-catch blob. So we try to get if we catch the error, I'm going to return, going to image, I'm going to I'm sorry, here we only have one image, okay? So basically, I thought we can have multiple images here, but for image placeholder, I think only one placeholder for one image. So here we don't need to have an array here. So like just put image here. So return this image. So this is HTML, this is the image. So if we catch some error here, we're going to pass just like what we did for the attachment. And finally, let's return this. And actually, we can assign this blob, can assign this blob to this image, okay? So this is the image blob. And we also need to handle the, handle this HTML as well. So this is going to be something like this. We're going to have a tag called a image, okay? Have a source with a CID, and here we're going to have a key to this image. And for this image, actually, I'd like to put it in an object, okay? Create image. And I forgot to pass one more thing here. I need to pass this header. This header is going to be the key, okay? We need to pass this header because we need this header as the key. So this is the key we're going to use. We're going to pass this key here, and also we're going to use this image key to this blob. Basically, we're going to assign this key to this blob. And finally, we return this. So right now it looks like a little bit weird, I have to say. But I will show you the data structure. And after we get the image, this here is not images, it's just image because we only have one single image, okay? So inline images, let's put this image here. And this should be object. And this should be an object as well. Okay. Maybe we have a better way to do this, so to make you have a better understanding. And we don't need to pass a key here. We don't need to pass a key here, and we can create image blob, all right, only with this URL, and make it better to understand for you guys. So here, let's return null, return nothing if there is no URL. And if we have something here, let's just return this part. So if we don't have this URL, I'm going to create this blob, right? If there is no URL, we return nothing. And if we have this URL, we try to fetch the URL and get the file blob here. And here, let's try to replace this function, create image blob, with this URL. So let's const image blob. So this is the image blob, okay, with this URL. And this email header, I'm going to equal to something like that, because we're going to have a HTML tag for this image, and then we have a source. The source equal to CID and the key. The key will be the header. Okay, so this is the key, is the header. So this is the HTML tag, and we need to add this inline image. The inline image header is equal to image blob. So basically, we're going to add this image blob to this inline images. Okay. So right now we have the image. We handle the. I think we handle the inline images. Let me show you the data structure, so you can see it. Make it a little bit clear for you. So let's console log all of this email data, and here we need to add another inline images and email data, inline images. Okay, so let's comment this out. So I will show you. So let's try to run this. Because we add a new API called URL fetch. So basically, we're going to use another service to fetch the data from the from the URL for the image, right? So this is connect to external service. So this is attachment, but I didn't see. Okay, we have inline images here, which is object, but we cannot see the details for this inline image. And I think I did something wrong here, because I cannot put the inline image here, I think, because this image is not in this email data keys. Okay, so we need to get this and put it here in this else, because these are placeholders actually, right? Because these are placeholders, so we can do this if we need to check this in the placeholders. So that's something I did wrong. Okay, but this is a live coding, so I could make some mistakes. Sorry about that. So we need to do it like do this image placeholders, and we need to handle the image placeholders here, right? And else, that is a placeholder. And for this part, and here email data header, not email header, we need to pass a placeholder header, because we need to pass this as a placeholder. And for the email data, we need to add a image is an image blob. And let me show you. So let's put another console log for the placeholders. So you will see the placeholders for the image will be a little bit different. So as you can see here, for the placeholder, I have an image placeholder updated to something like this. We have a source, and we have a source to this CID image 1. You remember, for this image 1, which is image blob, as you can see, this is the key to that image blob in this inline image object. Okay, so basically this CID, I'm going to build the link between this inline image and this source. All right, so this is how we update the image. So I think this could solve the issue. So let me show you how I know this kind of stuff. So you can do a search for Gmail app, send email. So let me show you the documentation. So if you cannot understand this part, that's because you need to read some documentations. Okay, basically I did this a lot so I can remember it, but if you cannot remember, you can always check this document and send email. Meanwhile to search. Okay, here. So here we have options. So if you check the inline image, oh, sorry. Kind of slow. Send email. Cannot find it. That's weird. Okay, so here you have an inline image, and as you can see here, this is the example for the image tag, and we have a source, and this CID, we're going to use this CID image key. Okay, so this is how I get this kind of data from this documentation, and you can use it in your code. And also you can have a attachment blob here. This is for the inline images. Okay, so we go back to our project, and let's get rid of these two comments. I'll leave it here for now, and let's uncomment these lines and try to send an image. Okay, so let's check if we can replace that image in our template. So it looks like everything is fine. Get rid of this and this. Okay, I think I deleted the wrong email. This one. Boom, I have a beautiful apple here. So this image has been updated with your file, right? So if you check the source code, how to check the source code? So this is the image which is going to be replaced, all right? So basically, if you check the draft here, this is the image, which is the text, right? But we replace it with the image. So this, I think, for now, we complete the second problems we haven't completed in the part A, okay? So basically, I give you this demonstration, so it's basically to show you a way to solve your problems when you're trying to code, to write your own project, to code your own project, okay? So you need to know how to solve some problems. Like here, I did some mistake, as you can see. I handled the image in a wrong place because I need to handle them in the placeholder section, I think. And now let's get rid of these lines. And there might be something else need to be completed, like the error handling, because we have some. If you check this template here, if I try to run this function again, I think I still can send this row, okay? Because I didn't check the status for this row. So basically, if this row is not a success status, this row is not with a success status, we can send the email. So if we have a success status in this row, we're going to skip. We're going to skip this row, okay? Because we already sent this email. Or we can use this thread ID to check. If we already have a thread ID here, that means we already sent this email, this row as an email, okay? So we don't need to send it again. So we can add an if check in the code. So if we go back to our function, so let's try to find, I think it's called a run function here. So in this loop, we basically loop through row by row, okay, so values for each values, but we never checked the row value, right? So we need to check if so the first column, not the first column, the second column is the status, right? And we can check this thread column. So if this is empty, we're going to send the email. So that is the second column, right? Is empty, then we're going to do all of these actions. If it's not, we're going to not to do anything. So this is the first error handling we need to do, right? And another thing is, so for this Gmail app, we send email with script. We have a daily quota. Okay, basically you can send 100 for free users. You can send only 100 email, okay, per day. So in 24 hours, you can send only 100 emails, all right, to one single person, okay. So if you send email over than 100, you cannot, okay, Google will going to block this service and you cannot send emails, okay. So this is for free users. So we need to do a try catch block here to check if our quota is already used up, okay, so we cannot send any emails. So, and we may have other issues. So basically, so if we have any errors while trying to send this email, I'm going to catch this error here. And here I'm going to return the error.message. So this function, this send email function, can either return a sent email, which is going to be a Gmail app, Gmail thread object, and error message with which is a string, right? And we can handle this in our. So let's try to search this send email. So let's say if type of sent email is equal to string, that means we have an error, right? You remember here the error message is a string. That means this is error. And we do something else. We can pass this value. Sorry, let's make a copy of all of these. And else, if it's not a string, that means we have the sent email successfully, right? And we keep this successful message, and let's say failed. And let's add error message here after the failed. Let's say status failed, and add an error message here. The error message is going to be returned, and actually we can rename this sent email called result. So this result could be a sent email or could be an error message, right? And here for the second, okay, we're not for this second column here, not the second column, the third column, which is the thread ID, right? We keep it empty. So we add empty here, and for the new date, we keep it empty. Or we can do nothing here, and then we put the error message here. Where is my error message, which is the result? So this is how we handle the error message. So it's a simple error handling, I think. So basically, let's save it like this, and let me, maybe we can add another. So what if we have another template? Let's say this time, this is what kind of template we are going to make, or notification, maybe something like that. Hi. We have a name here just for test. Okay, so basically you can define this is a test notification, and then we have a message here. Okay, so it is a very simple template. So basically, after we did this template, this is a notification template here. So something here we need to do. So right now, after we did that, we don't have this select here, right, as you can see. So if I try to, I need to do this update draft validation to reflect this change, right? So if I now do check this drop down, as you can see, I have this notification, right? Maybe I can change this to notification. So this is for the notification, and I can select this notification as a template, and then we can try to notification for the subject and send an email like this. All right, we don't have so this is for the placeholders. We have placeholders name, and another one is message. So this is how we use this tool. We don't have so many rows here. We can delete them, and you can have multiple. You can make a copy of them, and you can send notifications, maybe A, B, like this, and a name, message A, message B. So this is for this notification draft, right? And you can send message with this mail merge function, and this should run successfully. And 2 emails have been sent out. And if I check my inbox, I should have a notification A and notification B, I think. As you can see, notification A and the notification B, right? So this almost handle most of this. So basically this is for the part B, okay? And actually there is something else I didn't complete it. You may find it. Maybe you can try it. So if you add an image in your template, let's say we add a template, we add maybe for your company, you have a logo or something like that, right? So let's say let's insert an image to your template. This is not handled, but you can handle it in this project. Maybe homework for you to do that. But I cannot select any image. That's weird. So basically what I'm trying to say, if you add an image in your, if you add attachment or image in your template, so right now the project is not designed to handle this kind of situations right now. But you can improve this project by adding this kind of functions to your project, okay? You can also improve this project. And if you really have this kind of requirement for your own project, you can try to modify this code, and you can do it here. And I don't want to do it here right now because I'd like to close this project for now. And if you think this, if you cannot figure out how to do it, and maybe I can release another part for this project. I don't know. So far, I think everything should work fine. And you can have you can design your template here in this draft. Okay, so you can have multiple templates, and you can use this project like this. You can create multiple template, right? Like this. Separate them one by one. And if you like to send an invoice, you can use this template. And if you like to send a notification, you can use this template, right? And maybe one more thing. So maybe every time you open this spreadsheet, you like to check if there is any new template in your Gmail account. So we can add this function here. We can run this function. Okay. So let's say, let's just run this function. Every time we open this spreadsheet, we're going to run this function update draft validation here. So if I add a new, another, let's add another one, and template 3, and close it. So now I have 3 template, and if I reload this page, I hope this can work, but I didn't test it. So if I can see this menu here, that means it's working. No menu. Maybe I can see it here. No. I cannot see this menu, so that means it's not working. So let me check what's going on here at the back end. I didn't test it. So my purpose is every time you open this spreadsheet and this drop-down should be updated. But it looks like something is not working. Property. Okay, so I can check. So if you'd like to check all the executions for your code, you can open this tab here. And as you can see here, this is failed. Okay, so basically it looks like all of these access are blocked. So that's why we cannot run this function here. So that's a pity. So maybe there is another workaround to solve a problem like this. So far, you have to manually refresh. Okay, you need to run this function here to manually refresh that part. So let's get rid of this line. So remove this line and run this on open again to create the menu. So basically, if you have a new draft template, or you delete some draft template, you don't want to show them here, you need to run this function to update these drop downs. So right now I have the template 3, right? Okay, so that's it for this video. Okay, thank you, and see you next time. Bye bye.